Raicu, and I'm excited to share with all of you some of my research about protein docking from this summer at the University of Chicago. I'd like to first say thank you to my mentors, Valerie Hayot, Professor Kyle Chard, and Professor Ian Foster at Globus Labs, and helping guide me through my research. It was very exciting. Quick overview. So first, when the COVID-19 pandemic took the world by surprise, scientists and researchers alike scrambled to find a vaccine. And one way we do that is through virtual drug screening. Now, the traditional approach to virtual drug screening is through protein docking. And it's brute force protein docking, where you take one protein receptor and you test docking against millions of molecules from the database. Now, what I've explored is trying to reduce the search space to accelerate this process using machine learning. And so that's what this entire research is about, how to reduce the search space using machine learning and reduce the time to discovery altogether. But first, what is protein docking? So protein docking is when a molecule, ligand, and protein receptor bind together in a very specific fashion. Hence, why it's such a complex process and why it's very computationally expensive. And so what we're trying to solve is when you have one protein receptor and you have a data set of millions of molecules, how do you identify that optimal configuration between that protein receptor and molecule ligand? Well, we're going to use machine learning to reduce that search space. But we need to consider a few things. We need to consider, can we maintain a high model accuracy? Can we sample the millions of molecules efficiently? And can we integrate the machine learning model into a Python-powered automated pipeline effectively? So this is our proposed solution. Given the data set of SMILE strings, you can run some conversions and prepare those SMILE strings for docking. And once you've run the docking using the AutoDock software, then you use those docking scores as inputs to a machine learning model. And then you pass in those original formulated SMILE strings through your model once you've built it, and then you can extract a smaller subset of SMILE strings to run your docking. And this is how you reduce that search space. Now, to get into different parts of the pipeline, in terms of SMILE strings, it's a chemical representation, which can be seen there. And so those SMILE strings are converted into molecular fingerprints as well as a second input to the ML model. And those fingerprints are just ones and zeros, bit vector. And these are just different ways to represent the same thing, and they play key roles in the pipeline. In terms of the code, I used Python to power this pipeline. For parallelism, I used Parcel. And then I used the conventional docking software, which was AutoDock Vina. And then I used other libraries for visualization and data analysis. Our data set consisted of 8 million molecules over the 15 protein receptors from the SARS-CoV-2 proteome. And then from that data set, we extracted 4 million of those molecules to use as our starting point in the pipeline. A little insight into how this data conversion looks like. The SMILE string, we looked at it before, but to prepare it for docking, we run this conversion and then we see this other file type. Once we run docking, we see this output. We see that the binding affinity score, the best one is negative 6.36 because it's the most negative, which indicates that it took the least amount of energy for a protein receptor molecule to come together, indicating that it's a great fit. And so we also see there that it took a few seconds and exhaustiveness of 32, meaning that over 32 cores it was running parallel. This is the distribution over the 4 million molecules. That green line separates the optimal scores from the bad scores. And so we've created a threshold of 0.1%. So the top 0.1% of the most negative scores, we classify them as our good scores, and then everything to the right, bad. And then we blow that up to the left because it can't be seen because of how many scores are on the right. And then we use a machine learning model, the K-Mears-Snavers model, and we give it our two inputs, the molecular fingerprints and the docking scores. In addition to that, we use those two labels, the optimal and the bad. And with all of this, then we can pass in through our original 4 million SMILE streams. And then we can allow the KNN to give us our new subset of predicted docking scores. So that way we can run the auto dock once again on those predicted molecules that are going to be the best. In terms of optimizing our KNN model, we did a hyperparameter search, and in that search we found that a fingerprint size of 128 and a fingerprint depth of 8 would lead to the highest accuracy, right around 88%. When considering fingerprint size, that's the amount of bits in that molecular fingerprint, and the more bits you have, the more detail you can obtain about the molecule. It's the level of granularity of the molecular structure. And then that depth that you see there, depth of 8, it takes into account the interactions that happen in the molecular environment around the molecule. We ran our parcel dock pipeline on 2 test beds, an 8-core personal laptop, as well as a 192-core server. And we can see the results here. On the server, we achieved a 37x speedup from the brute force approach, traditional docking, to our improved machine learning pipeline. And on my personal laptop, we were able to achieve a 38x speed. Notice that the yellow block there is the docking process. And so by reducing that search space and reducing the number of dockings that it takes to perform this virtual drug screening, we can significantly reduce the time altogether. And that yellow block is on a logarithmic scale, so it's actually magnitudes higher than all the blocks below. And then ongoing and future work includes increasing the accuracy of our KNN model. We built it using a distance metric, Euclidean distance, but given that we have molecular fingerprints, 1s and 0s, something like the Hamming distance might have yielded a higher accuracy, or we could have gotten rid of the distance matrix altogether and considered something like a deep neural network. So in summary, we were able to create a Python-powered automated pipeline that uses parcel for parallelism and KNN as our machine learning model to reduce the search space and reduce the time to discovery altogether. We were able to make this computationally feasible on a personal computer, which I think is very significant and going to impact the whole supercomputing and biomedical community as a whole. Thank you.
Research posters by student authors are entered in the ACM Student Research Competition. Semi-finalists are selected at all major ACM-sponsored conferences and then go on to compete in the Global Championship. These awards are presented by ACM SRC Undergraduate Chair, Shinjei Shumimoto. Please hold your applause until all 3 winners have been announced. The ACM SRC winners in the undergraduate category are, in the first place, Ronak Singh Monga from Indiana University and Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. In second place, John Raicu from University of Chicago. And in third place, Jamison Kearney from Illinois Institute of Technology.